I will start by installing the first spool into the inner reel, which is the reel 1, and choose to put the poly supports. You can put either one because this is a smart reel, and it has a identification chip here that will tell the printer what filaments and how much you actually have left on this roll. So in order to insert, first is to make sure that I have cut it to be flat. So I'll just make a small cut here so that it's now flat. And notice that there are actually 2 openings on this side, labeled 1 on top and 2 below. So for installing the first reel, we are going to put it on the first set, and you can actually load it after you have put the reel into its holder or the core. But the easier method would be to actually guide the filament in, and the Robox actually has an auto loading mechanism. So once you push the filament in, it will start to fit it in. So I'm going to put it on number 1, and I'm going to give quite some leeway. I will push it all the way in until it starts to catch. And you'll hear that there's actually okay, now it's starting to fit, so I'm going to slowly let it go in. It should go all the way into the head. There you go. And wait for it to stop. And now it's stopped, means that it has already been loaded. And I will now reel it in and put this roll into the middle until it clicks. So now it's locked, and I have the first spool installed. And from here, actually you'll be able to see the golden tube at the back, where the top tube now has filled up with the white filament all the way to the head. Okay, and at the same time, you see that reel 1 has been detected as the Polymaker poly support, and this is a half reel, so it currently has about 120 meter, 360 gram remaining, and it's showing where the head location is right now. Okay, so I'm going to now install the second filament as well, which is the orange colored PLA roll. So I'm going to do the same thing. Remove the retention tape, which is retaining the filaments. Open up, and then making sure that it is flat. This one is flatter than the white color one. Okay, for the second reel, there is this adapter that also has the eject button here, which has the indication of reel 2. And in order to put in the second reel, I would actually put this in, and you'll see that there's a click. And once there's a click, you turn it to one side, and now it's locked. I can't take it out, but in a certain angle, if you turn it, you'll be able to take it out. Put it, click it, lock it, and you won't be able to take it out. Yeah. So for the second reel, I will install the filament with the reel connected to the to its adapter. So I'm just going to turn this in, and then I'm going to lock it. And just as before, I'm going to put this through the second hole, or the second receptacle is which is at the below, and then I'm just going to push it all the way in slowly, making sure that it goes in smooth, and then you hear that it's actually taking it in. I'll continue to push until it catches, and then it will start to feed in, and you will actually be able to see the filament getting fed slowly into the head. And there you go. And that's done. So now both filaments have been loaded. Let me put it up here and see. You see that now the second row of PLA has been installed, which is the Sunset Orange, 120 meters, 360 gram, which is a half reel. Yep. Which came with the Robox itself. Okay, first order of business before we start doing or printing anything on the Robox is actually to enable going to settings, enabling the advanced mode. You enable it. What this does is enabling other features, things like diagnostics, and more importantly the G-code console, where you can actually put in your own G-code to move the head, or to do some settings, setting temperatures and whatnot. And also at the same time, you're able to do the control of moving the head and the tray, and also the heights. Yeah. Okay. So I can actually do the front and back itself. And of course, I'll start off by homing, pressing the home, and this will actually home the head and the tray itself. Okay, that's it. So now it is homed. So the first thing you want to do is, before we actually do anything, is actually to purge whatever that is left in the head. Remember that I said there's some testing in the factory before it was delivered, and there is probably some filaments that is still there before our filament is being inserted. So we would like to at least purge those first. Okay, in order to purge the head, first we need to give it a command to heat up both the extruders. So we'll do the left and then we'll do the right. And basically you see here, I will use the command 105 first, and M105 command actually will show you all the current temperature of the various components. So S and T. S is the left extruder, so currently will be the orange spool, and then it is currently at 21 degrees, and there is no delta, means that this is not actually heating up for the time being. And then you have T, which is the right hand side extruder, so currently that is 21 and is loaded with the white color. So an easy way to identify is that you have S and then you T, and then at the same time at the head you have on the left side S and T. So I will just turn on the head lights, this one. And I will turn on all the lights. And you see that I've turned on the lights on the extruder. I will raise this up so that you'll be able to see the two heads. So S and T. So the two different the extruders on this printer. Okay, and then B will be the bed, and A is ambient. So internally, when you close this cover, it will detect the temperature within the casing itself. Yeah. Okay. So next, I'm going to heat up M104, and I will start with S, which is the left, and I will put it to 230 or 225, because we do not know which material was used to print, to test prints, and the PLA temperature usually is between 170 to right below 230. Above that, which it will start to degrade, or it could be ABS. So we'll just set it to 230, and I'll just send G code, and now it's actually heating. So material 2, which is the orange color, so heating now, and you'll be able to see the graph showing the target temperature, and it's going up, and it is actually currently target temperature is 230, and it's going at 105, 108 right now. Okay, it's going up currently. Heating up is quite fast on this printer. Okay, so it has reached its target temperature, and what you want to do is actually to, now it's at nozzle 1, and you would like to open nozzle. And once I open the nozzle, you see that the material is actually extruding out. Right. Okay. Some is extruding out right now. Okay, with the nozzle open, you can see here that you can actually extrude some amounts of filament. Recommend to have like a 20 millimeter like this. And 20. You should start extruding. And you see that it's actually coming out. So, and now the color of the filament is the same as the filament that I've already put in. So that's all the purge that I need to do. And I come back to here, and I will close the nozzle. And then don't forget, once this is done, to set the M04, or set the temperature back to 0. Okay, and now it will start to cool. It will And a very important note here is that please do not turn the printer off while it is still hot. Let the fan continue to cool the head so that it will be cooled down all the way before you actually turn off the machine. This is to avoid damaging the print head. Okay, the temperature is going down. So at the same time, I'm going to do the same thing with the second extruder, which is T. So I will put T, and then I'm going to put 230 as well. And I'll send G code. And now it's hitting material 1. So it's a little bit confusing here because for the material 1 is in the inside and material 2 is on the outside. But when you are talking about the commands that we are putting, they are the identification is S and T, and at the same time, S material S and T. Also at the same time, the extruder has its own identification, and the left extruder is D and the right is E. So it's always the one before and the after. So DE and ST. So that's how it is being arranged. So now I'm hitting material 1. And I'm going to target it at 230, and it's going to be 230 very soon. Okay, so now it is at the target temperature. Just check. So the left nozzle is still cooling down, but the right nozzle is now at 230. And with the same thing that I'm done, before that you have to select the correct nozzle. So now I've selected nozzle 2, and I will open the nozzle. And what's going to happen is that let me clear up the initial color, and you'll see that after I open, the white color is actually oozing out right now. And the same way that I've done earlier, I will actually extrude an additional 20mm increments, just to make sure that it's actually coming out. It's not that 20. Hear the sound that is actually extruding, and it's coming out. Put another 20. Okay, that's it. So it's, the purge is clean. See that that is the filament that I've actually loaded, so that you won't have any old filament that is there that will mess up your next print. Okay, so with that, I will actually close the nozzle, and then I will set the temperature to 0. This is the reason why we want the advanced interface. This will actually help. Okay, and now it will actually cool down. I will move the head up a little bit so that I can actually pick out what's left up here. Okay. And this is about done, so I'm just going to clean up this away. And there you have it. So with this, all I need to do is actually to just home it back again. Doing the auto leveling on the bit, and now it goes to home position, and that's it. We are ready to print. So one thing worth noting is also that it has a sensor on the door, so whether you close the door or you open, it will actually able to detect. And there's actually a lock on this side, so I'll show. There's a latch which will lock it during printing. Of course, in your options you can actually turn off the lock if you do not wish to actually have that latch there. Okay, with that, your printer is now ready to print. And that's the quick out of the box setup of the Robox Dual printer for first print. I will share the printing my first prints later on, and there's also a way to connect to a GoPro through Wi-Fi to take a time lapse of your prints. I will be doing that test too. Okay, hope this has been helpful. Thank you, and I'll be back.